Hello everyone, how's it going? So it has been confirmed. Sony is four times re-releasing The Last of Us Part 1, and it's being bundled with The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. So yeah, this is just to capitalize on the upcoming season 2 of the show for the layperson who's just like, hey, I like the TV show, I'm gonna go play the games. This is common among publishers when they do stuff like this, like Borderlands, despite the movie being garbage, saw a huge rise in sales. They put the games on sale. The Devil May Cry anime recently came out and Capcom had a huge sale for all the Devil May Cry games, so it's not uncommon to do something like this, but the difference between those things is that they gave discounts for games that came out a while back and didn't try and shill a brand new product, because that's how they're selling this. $100 for these two games. This includes all the DLC and the remastered versions of the game, and I will say that the artwork looks pretty cool. It's kind of suspicious that they left Abby out of the artwork, but I guess they hedging their bets that Abby won't be well received in the TV show as well, because she is almost universally negatively received within the game. Like, there are people who do like her, but I would say a good 95% of people do not like Abby at all. So maybe that's why they only put Ellie on the box, because she's a much more popular character. And yeah, like, just to put this in perspective, The Last of Us Part 1 came out on the PS3, PS4, and PS5, with the PS5 version being an entirely graphically updated version of the game with accessibility features featured in The Last of Us Part 2, but they sold it for $70 and they omitted the multiplayer, which was just, yeah, not exactly the best consumer-friendly move. Well, it is Sony after all, and now Nintendo is joining them in that whole practice of consumer unfriendliness. But either way, this game has been re-released so many times that it's become a meme at this point, even worse than Skyrim, because at least with Skyrim, they play into the meme. With this, they're making it seem like it's an entirely new product when it's not. And just for perspective, you can probably get these two games for far cheaper. Like, you could get the PS5 version from eBay for about $40, probably even cheaper. And same thing from GameStop or any other retailer. You probably can find it for $50, $40. Part 2, you can find for around $20 or probably even cheaper if you go into your local GameStop for the ones that are still open. I saw, like, when this game came out, I remember there were rows upon rows of this at my local GameStop that's now unfortunately closed, and they were selling them for like $4 or $5. In fact, I saw one that was 99 cents. Maybe I should have picked it up, but I hated this game so much that, yeah. Like, I have a new appreciation for it, but I still don't think the story is great. I really don't like it. But either way, you can also go to eBay and probably find it for cheaper, even though they're selling it for a little more. I think they're also trying to capitalize on the TV show people who are reselling their copies. Either way, it's just a little ridiculous that they're doing this, but at the same time, I understand why they're doing it. And it's, look, Sony has been going down this path of very unfriendly practices that they don't seem to care anymore. I don't know if these products are doing as well as they hope they would, like Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered. Like, I still remember that, $50 for a game that also was graphically broken. Like, that's the thing, that game sold for $50, and I decided to play the PS4 version to compare the two, and the PS4 version is actually more stable than the PS5 version. There are a lot of graphical issues with the PS5 version. Maybe it's because of the resolution update or the frame rate or changes, but there are a lot of graphical issues in the PS5 version of Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered. And again, they sold that for $50, even though it should have been like at most a $10 upgrade package, or even a free upgrade package for just like, you know, a celebration for Horizon. But, you know, how Sony is doing, I don't know who's making these decisions, but I really don't know who's going to buy this, who's a gamer. Like, people who actually are aware of the gaming industry and all that, who's going to buy this? They're going to take one look at this and say, yeah, no, this is not great. And I also remember when part 1 of the PS5 version came out, I couldn't find any of these tweets, but I remember a lot of people were conveying that their products were destroyed. Like, they actually paid extra for the special editions and they were destroyed. Like, they were damaged cases and everything, and Sony refused to give back their money, or the retailers. But yeah, I can expect that to happen to this as well, because if it happened once, chances are it would happen again. And this is one of their flagship franchises that, again, they keep remastering and selling to us as a full price AAA experience, despite it coming out Like, The Last of Us Part 1 is like over a decade old, I would think. Like, or at least a near a decade. And I believe The Last of Us Part 2 came out in 2017, 2018. But it's over 5 years old. Or at least 5 years old. Like, it's such an old ass game. I don't know who's gonna pay for this, who already hasn't owned these games, because these also sold very well. They sold upwards to over 2-3 million copies. So they're as common as freaking Assassin's Creed 2. So chances are you probably know someone who's a gamer who has a copy of this. But yeah, tell me what you think about this, because at this point I have no idea if they're just creatively bankrupt, or they're just like, it's such a cheaply put together product that they just want to capitalize as much as they can from the TV show. Because that's the other thing. All they did was take part 1 and part 2 and put it together and say $100. Like, can you imagine that? Like, the executive who made this decision, yeah, let's put part 1 and part 2, and then we combined it and sell it to $100. They'd be like, genius. I shouldn't be laughing, because this is really, really sad. Sony used to be one of the great companies, just like Activision, just like Microsoft. Like, it's, you see all these companies falling so hard because they're either creatively bankrupt or refuse to take risk on new franchises, or even try and put their every effort into the franchises they actually have. God. Please don't buy this. I'm not gonna buy this. I know I am the problem as well. I bought part 1, the PS5 version. Platinum did. I also got the updated version of the PS5 version of The Last of Us Part 2. Platinum that as well. So I guess in a way that gives me full authority to say my woes about this, because I've played so much of this franchise and have such extensive knowledge about everything about this, that I can tell people, don't get this. Please don't get this. If you want a copy, get a cheap copy from Gamefly. Like, Gamefly probably has it for way cheaper. But yeah, that's it from me. God, this makes me sad. I'm still excited for the TV show though.